Now, again, for those of you that may not be familiar, Ben McLemore is a former NBA player. He played for the Portland Trail Blazers, and he was recently convicted for dealing with a young yamp. Young yamp is actually like doubling up my words. You're supposed to say a yamp because a yamp means young tramp. All right. He was officially sentenced. And so it's interesting, but I'm going to go ahead and play this for you because I told you, and I see a lot of guys are sitting there whining and complaining, but we going to get there. We're going to get there.
Former Portland Trailblazer is set to spend more than 8 years in prison after he was found guilty of rape during his time with the team.
In court today, the victim spoke just before the judge handed down his sentence.
This has been the longest 4 years of my life.
8 years and 4 months. That's how long Ben McLemore will be in prison after being found guilty of raping a woman at a house party back in 2021. It happened while the 32-year-old was on the Portland Trail Blazers team at the Lake Oswego home of his then teammate, Robert Covington.
I've had to continue on with my life with a piece of it left unresolved. These last few years have often felt like a weight that I've had to drag behind me, a constant reminder of the trauma that I haven't fully been able to work through because there was no ending in sight.
He wasn't arrested and indicted until just last year, and today, the victim addressed the court, speaking about the years-long process it took for justice to be served.
This experience has taken an immense toll on my emotional and mental health. It's changed me in ways that I've never expected, and yet I've carried this burden in silence. Thanks to the jury's verdict, I can finally feel a weight being lifted, a weight that I've carried for far too long. And while I can't truly describe the relief that I feel, I know that today I stand a little taller and a little freer.
McLemore was found guilty of several charges, including first-degree rape, despite his claims that the sexual encounter was consensual.
He used my vulnerability against me and then had the audacity to lie about the disgusting act that he committed.
The victim said in court today that she hopes this trial will be a testament that no one is above the law, no matter their status.
So many times we hear about people in positions of power or fame avoiding accountability, but I knew that no matter how famous Mr. McLemore was or how much he may have loved and respected his family, he was still capable of hurting someone else.
McLemore was also sentenced to 11 and a half years of post-prison supervision and will have to register as a sex offender.
I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it. To sit there and have to wave to your family goodbye.
No matter how famous Mr. McLemore.
I can't do it, man. I'm not built for it. And to know that the guy got to basically do 11 and a half years of supervised after you get out. So basically, he's got to do 8.5 years in prison. Now, remember, former NBA player, got to do 8.5 years in prison. And then he has to do another 11 and change in supervised release after he get out, if he is not to offend or like not to get no more charges while he's in prison, because you might have to fight a nigga or something like that, right? And so that's basically another 20 years of your life. Let me look at how old this guy is real quick. Give me a second. Ben McLemore is 32 years old. Born in 1993 in St. Louis. Made it out of the hood. Played in the NBA, 6'3", and now he has to spend the rest of his 30s in prison. So for your 30s, for the rest of your 30s, you in prison. For the rest of your 40s, you got to be on supervised release. And then going forward after that, you got to be registered as a sex offender. Jennifer Della Vecha, and maybe I should put this as a subject on After Hours. I'm gonna add this on After Hours because I want to get what everybody else's. I want to get the ladies' opinion of this because I think that this will be a good subject to discuss, and the subject that we probably gonna discuss on After Hours tonight. So I think y'all really need to turn in to After Hours tonight because it's gonna be probably I think we're gonna have different opinions on this one. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have differing opinions on this one. Because I probably got a different opinion than most people. And I don't believe that he raped her. Somebody in the chat said, because if you're not familiar with the story, I covered the story. He got on a stand and he said, listen, this is what he said on the stand. He said, look, she was drunk, I was drunk. We helped, we laid on the couch together. In the middle of the night, I woke up and her hand was in my dick. Her hand was in my pants, right? He said, then we proceeded to get it in. He says, in the morning, when I got up, I left and I went home and I never exchanged information, never said nothing to her, never called her again. I went on my way. He said they went to the bowling alley, they had some drinks, they went to another teammate's house. All of the girls was there, the guys was there. He wound up busting her down in the middle of the night. Then he wound up leaving in the morning. And then later on, she then eventually filed a claim and said that he raped her. He testified in his own case, and then he got found guilty. And of course, if you in Portland, I don't know if y'all familiar with it. Portland is one of the most. Now let me revise that. Of all of the places that I've ever visited, Portland is the most liberal place that I've ever been to in my entire life. Portland is one of the most liberal places that I've not lived at, that I've ever visited in my entire life. I've recently visited Portland. I went to a Portland Trailblazers game. All of that is the most liberal place that I've ever been in my entire life. And so, they said, they found him guilty. Now they sentencing him to basically the maximum. And they saying that he got to spend 8 years in prison, register as a sex offender. His life is over. And it's all after one drunken night of sex, right? So some people on my last live stream, when I first did this live stream, they said to me, well, Anton, of course, some guys in the simping in the chat. Anton, man, no, man, he knew better. He should have never. Okay, cool. Let's say that he knew better to ever deal with a groupie that didn't have anything to lose, that was ever over his homeboy's house. You never get drunk with groupies and have sex with them, because at some point, some of them can come and say that you did something, right? Cool. But it doesn't mean that that's what he did. Just because you shouldn't put yourself in a compromised position does not mean that he's supposed to serve 8 years as a result of it. And so two things can be true at the same time. Yes, you got to be careful of the company that you keep. Of course, if you say, Anton, you got a nice car, you wearing a nice watch, why is it that you driving drunk? How is it any different than women saying, I ain't even gonna get into that. I'm gonna hold that off until tonight. I don't think that he did it. I don't believe that he had to. I don't believe that there's a history of women that's saying that he did that type of thing to him. I believe that it was 100% consensual. But now they're putting 100% of the onus on men in order to make sure that she's not drunk. So basically what you're telling me is that if a woman feels drunk, right? If a woman feels drunk and then y'all bust it down, then at some point she can say that I wasn't not drunk enough. I wasn't sober enough to be able to actually consent. And then she can go after you for criminal and civil charges. That's basically what y'all telling me. What you're telling me is that if a woman is drunk or if a woman drinks, she can come back even if she consented to say, I don't know if I was sober enough to actually be able to consent. Now, you can get drunk too. Remember, you can get drunk, and this is the difficult part of being able to say that everybody should be equal, because the onus is always going to be on the man. If I get drunk and I deal with a woman and then she drink, here's my question. Can I go and say, you know what? I was too drunk. I wasn't sober enough to be able to give her the mushroom head. Can I go and say, you know what? I consented while I was drunk, but I'm not sure if I was sober enough to actually be able to give her the mushroom head. And so, would they take me seriously? Would she be locked up and do 8 years in prison? That would be a joke, G Money. See how they laughing at it? Molly says, I think we're witnessing a collapse of hookup culture. Everyone is being held accountable lately. So you can't fly a chick in or it's trafficking. Let me revise that. They put a caveat on there. You can't fly a chick in for sex. Now, if you fly a chick in and y'all have a conversation, you fly her in for business, you fly her in to just have a good time, and then it winds up being sex, then technically that's not trafficking. It's all gray areas now. It's all stupid gray areas, and I don't like it. I don't think that it's cool. I think that this is a finesse, and I think that it's bad. And I don't like people spending an egregious amount of time in prison for stuff that, like, if somebody got raped back in the day, it was cut and dry. Oh yeah, he ripped her panties off, and we found a rape kit, and it's all of this semen inside her and stuff. It's not cut and dry no more. Now it's, well, what was she drinking? She had some Jaeger bombs. Oh man, she had some Jack Daniels on top of that. Oh, Hennessy. How many cups did she drink? Well, I don't know if she was able to consent, even though she said yes. And her drink wasn't spiked. Nope. Oh, well, she's just regular drunk. Yep. What are you, an NBA player? Yeah. You should know better than that. 8 years. Go to jail. 8 years, go to jail. No evidence. He said, she said, your word against mine, go to jail. Your word against mine, go to jail. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What you think? Hispanic women ain't the same? Y'all be killing me. Y'all be killing me. Y'all be killing me. Thinking that all women are different just because they have a different race or a different color or something like that. They not. They not, bro. They not.